My friends, the FBI has just unleashed a new weapon in their arsenal, a task force targeting Tesla vandals. But is this really about protecting fancy electric cars, or something far more sinister? Buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through the looking glass of American justice. Let's start with the facts, shall we? Since March 1st, we've seen a proper explosion of anti-Tesla sentiment. We're talking about 80 cases of vandalism, arson, and even shootings targeting Tesla showrooms and charging stations across 16 states. It's like someone's declared war on electric cars. In California alone, 3 dealerships were firebombed. In Texas, a bloke dressed in black went on a shooting spree at a supercharger station. And in Oregon, some muppet thought it'd be a laugh to spray paint swastikas on a fleet of Model 3 dollars. The FBI's not messing about either. They've logged 48 guardians. That's FBI speak for "we're keeping an eye on this," and kicked off 7 full-blown arson investigations. Blimey, that's more action than a Guy Ritchie film. Now, here's where it gets proper mental. The Trump administration, in all its infinite wisdom, has decided to label these acts as domestic terrorism. That's right, my friends. Spray paint a Tesla, and suddenly you're in the same category as Bin Laden. FBI Director Kash Patel, with all the charm of a wet weekend in Blackpool, declared, "These attacks on American innovation and free enterprise will be met with the full force of federal law enforcement." Full force, eh? What's next? Drone strikes on graffiti artists? But wait, it gets better. Attorney General Pam Bondi's threatening up to 20 years in prison for these vandals. And here's the cherry on top of this authoritarian sundae. Trump's floating the idea of shipping these terrorists off to El Salvador's Terrorism Confinement Center. For those not in the know, that's a lovely little facility housing over 5,000 prisoners in conditions that would make a medieval dungeon look like the Ritz. Last I checked, keying a car wasn't quite on par with Al-Qaeda, but what do I know? Now, you might be wondering why Tesla's become the government's favourite child. Well, it's all thanks to our mate Elon Musk. He's not just Tesla's big cheese anymore. He's also heading up the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, in Trump's administration. Yes, you heard that right. The man who couldn't efficiently run Twitter is now in charge of streamlining the entire US government. It's like putting a pyromaniac in charge of the fire brigade. This DOGE nonsense has made Tesla a prime target for anyone cheesed off with the government's policies. And let's be honest, there's plenty to be cheesed off about. Trump's been busy signing executive orders faster than a contestant on Supermarket Sweep, each one chipping away at civil liberties like they're going out of style. He's branded protesters as enemies of the state, restricted press freedoms, and now he's treating car vandals like they're the reincarnation of Al Capone. The upcoming Tesla Takedown protest on March 29th is set to be an absolute corker. We're talking 500 demonstrations across all 277 Tesla showrooms and supercharger stations nationwide. It's like Woodstock for the politically disgruntled. Organisers expect over 100,000 participants, all ready to voice their displeasure with clever chants and witty placards. But here's the rub. With the FBI's new task force in place, these protesters might find themselves in handcuffs faster than you can say electric vehicle. This task force isn't your average group of desk jockeys, mind you. We're talking about a crack team of 10 FBI agents, including counter-terrorism experts and ATF specialists. They've got more surveillance tools than James Bond and the legal backing to make the Patriot Act look like a nursery rhyme. It's enough to make George Orwell spin in his grave. Civil liberties advocates are, understandably, having kittens over this. As Jamil Jaffer from the ACLU put it, this is a dangerous overreach that threatens the very foundations of our democracy. When the government starts treating protesters like terrorists, we're on a slippery slope to authoritarianism. Too right, mate. It's like we've stepped into an Orwell novel, but with electric cars instead of Victory Gin. The question is, my friends, where does this end? Today, it's Tesla vandals. Tomorrow, it could be anyone who dares to raise their voice against the powers that be. Are we looking at a future where posting a snarky tweet about the government lands you in a Salvadoran prison, where attending a protest is considered an act of war? It's enough to make you want to build a bunker and stock up on tinned beans. If you're as gobsmacked as I am about this turn Teslas into terrorism tale, give this video a cheeky like and let me know in the comments if you think we're living in a dystopian novel or if reality's just gotten that balmy. Because let's face it, when vandalising a car can get you shipped off to a foreign prison, we've got to wonder, is this still the land of the free, Or have we taken a wrong turn into authoritarianville? The fate of our democracy may well depend on how we respond to this madness. Will we allow ourselves to be silenced by the mere threat of an El Salvadorian vacation, or will we stand up and say, "Not today, mate. It's time to charge up our voices and accelerate towards freedom before we find ourselves stuck in reverse?" I'm Ron De Parmesan, and this has been another Newscat special report. Stay charged, my friends, and remember, in the words of the great philosopher Ferris Bueller, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Or in our case, you could miss the moment your country turned into a bloody dictatorship. Cheerio.